It is so crazy. It's been a month since the Maui fires, and there's still a lot of questions that people have, myself included. Did you guys get to watch the presser that Governor Josh Green did? Let me know your thoughts. So, in this presser, he highlights the numbers as far as what they have calculated. Let me know your thoughts about those numbers.
And as of today, there have been a total of 115 fatalities. Our hearts have broken 115 times. The FBI has reported that 66 of our people are potentially still unaccounted for based on calls and emails they've received. And in many cases, they only have names of these individuals on a list and no other information. This is the number that initially was over 3,000 and then dropped to 385 last week, and now, I repeat, is at 66. The Maui Police Department continues to make daily progress on missing persons reports and encourages families to share information about any missing loved ones. From all across Maui, all across probably the world, saying they're worried that a person is missing. They put that person's name on their list. They try to get more information best they can, but usually they just get a first name or a first and last name. They don't get, whether it's a man or a woman necessarily, don't get where they lived. They may not get any other information. So they have to go one by one and find out if that person is a duplicate on another list, if they actually are found, if they're in the hospital, or if, God forbid, they're deceased. So that number originally started very high in the first day or two because it was so much chaos and so many questions, couldn't find anyone. So it went from 3,000, then down to about 1,200, and then 800 for a couple of days. Meanwhile, more names are coming in. Then they finally, as things settled down after 3 weeks, saw the number drop very significantly because they went through large numbers of names. It got down to 385, as you know, last week. Within 2 days after that, it dropped another 60. And now here on the one month date of the fire anniversary, it is at 66. A couple things to also explain so people understand very well. Of the 115 individuals that have passed away, that we are able to know that there's 115 at least, there's still more than 50 that we haven't been able to determine who they are. That number is going to overlap very significantly with the 66. And I want to be clear, I'm trying to give extra information so people understand more thoroughly why there are additional numbers. The current number that the Maui Police Department is actively investigating, where they have a full report, name, first name, last name, maybe the address of that person so that can be lined up as the search goes, because our search and rescue team was able to determine in one block there was a person. That number is 41.
Did everybody capture those numbers? If you did, put them in the comments for me.
So the FBI is at 66, and they're continuing every day to lower their number, and the full number of reports that the Maui Police Department has is 41. So we're starting to see that the universe of 115 fatalities is about where we are, and there may be some additional fatalities as we go through the next month. The Maui Police Department is also going to give more information. At the 2-month mark, the only investigations they'll be able to even consider are for people who have filed police reports with them with extra information. But we, of course, are not rushing a soul because this is such a heartbreaking situation.
One of the questions I've had is, why did they need so many different lists? Like, why did one agency have a list in comparison, like, against another one? And how is that supposed to help in this situation? Just a question. Now, my other question is the school also going to update their numbers to match any of these lists? Because again, the unaccounted for, they don't have any dates of birth, male or female. We don't know ages. If the school is also going to update their enrollment since what's being reported. Now, one of the media people there asked about the number of predatory practices. I really hope they put those people on blast.
What are you seeing in terms of numbers, both unsolicited offers to buy land and, what you implied was predatory lawyers coming in?
Okay.
What are you seeing in terms of reports, like raw numbers, what's been verified?
We know dozens of attorneys have come to the state and solicited people as early as on the first day after the fire. The Attorney General has taken umbrage with that and is very upset, and she's filing legal complaints against people who were not licensed to practice in Hawaii. Those are the worst vultures, and they need to fly back to the mainland. Now, other people, we respect our lawyers here who know the people of Hawaii, who have the spirit of aloha for them. That's a different story altogether. Now, we have heard a lot of different vignettes about people being contacted to quickly sell their property. Again, people are allowed to sell their property. They own it if they ask someone else, hey, would you like to buy my property? But we don't want people who are grieving to be approached and asked to sell their property for $50,000 or $100,000 when it might be worth $1 million, just because they're so desperate to handle a mortgage payment or so desperate to pay for a funeral. That's why it's predatory. I think there are going to definitely be prosecutions against some attorneys who have behaved in this way. And I will also point to Judge Cahill, who I want to commend, who immediately stepped in and cautioned attorneys from the mainland that they better follow our rules and better treat our people in a proper way, or else they cannot expect to be given, I think it's, forgive me for not using the right legal term, given privileges to practice law in our state. It is not a small number. Basically, a lot of people view these kind of crises as the lottery.
Clearly, when people were saying that there were some predatory practices happening and this was becoming a land grab, I think everybody was in their right mind to say that, because now there's going to be some level of prosecution for such situations. It makes you kind of wonder who exactly are these land grabbers and perpetrators, and I wonder if they could be posted and put on blast, because I think that that's important to put out there as far as information goes. Whether there are, attorneys, realtors, other investors that could be put on blast to showcase that. My opinion. Now, in this press conference, Governor Green is still saying that he is going to make sure that there's a thorough investigation as to what exactly is going on with the fires, what caused it, all this stuff. At the end of the day, I'm still very much feel some type of way about that. I feel like any investigation needs to be independent of everyone. I also feel like there needs to be a thorough investigation as to what Jeremy Lee, the reporter, also pointed out about the intersections and the roadblocks and them causing a complete bottleneck situation. I wouldn't be surprised if Jeremy Lee stops talking about this because of the fact that he's probably going to get a lot of pressure from the leadership to, stop talking about it, because it does happen, right? Especially when you're pointing out inconsistencies to what they have been reporting. Just my thought. Let me know your thoughts in the comments about this whole situation. I'll see you guys on the next one. Rabbits out.